Sometimes life becomes so loud that we forget the one who has never stopped calling us. But if you're seeing this, pause for a moment. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. This is a moment that Allah Himself placed in your path. A moment to remind your heart that it was created for something greater than fear, greater than sadness, greater than the noise of this world. Allah wants to talk to you, not because you are perfect, but because you are His. Because even when you forgot Him, He never forgot you. Even when you felt lost, He was guiding you quietly, gently, through the storms you thought would break you. Today, He is inviting you back to the peace you've been searching for. So breathe. Listen. Your Lord is closer than your own heartbeat. And this message is His mercy reaching out to you. When life becomes overwhelming, when the heart feels heavy and the world feels unbearably loud, there comes a moment that is not from you, nor from chance, nor from the random flow of the day. It is a moment placed intentionally, lovingly, divinely. And this moment, the moment you are seeing these words, is not a coincidence. It is not an accident. It is not a mere stroke of timing. It is a conversation, a quiet one, a gentle one, coming from the one who knows you more deeply than every thought you never spoke aloud. Allah calls His servant in ways so soft that the world often misses them, but the heart never does. And right now, your heart is the one being called. Not because you are perfect, not because you have done everything right, not because you have lived without mistakes, but because you belong to the one who created your soul. And He never abandons what He creates. There are moments in life where everything seems scattered, where you feel distant from your own self, let alone from your Creator. You might have spent days or weeks or months feeling empty, feeling disconnected, feeling guilty, or feeling unworthy. You may have wondered if Allah still listens to you, still sees you, still cares about what you are going through. You may have wondered if your sins have weighed you down too much, if your past has closed the doors of mercy, if you have drifted too far to return. But this moment right here is the answer to those thoughts. Because the very fact that your eyes landed on these words means that Allah is speaking to your heart. It means that He is reminding you that He has never turned away from you, even in the moments where you turned away from Him. It means He is calling you, not to shame you, not to expose you, but to bring you back to the comfort that your soul has been starving for. You see, Allah calls His servants through experiences, through hardships, through the cracks in their hearts, and through the moments of silence where everything else fades. He calls through blessings too, through ease, through unexpected peace, through sudden clarity. Sometimes He calls through a moment of fear that shakes the heart awake, and sometimes through a moment of calm that eases the heart into remembrance. Allah calls by placing certain thoughts in your mind that you cannot ignore, by placing certain feelings in your chest that you suddenly cannot escape, by placing reminders in front of you that appear at the exact moment when you feel lost. And right now, whether you realize it or not, this is that reminder. This is that moment. This is that calling. Allah wants you to return to Him with tenderness, not with panic. He wants you to remember Him with hope, not with dread. He wants you to know that He is the one who heals the broken, who forgives the fallen, who comforts the lonely, who strengthens the weak, who raises the forgotten, and who honors the sincere. You do not need to come to Him with perfection. You only need to come to Him with honesty. You do not need to have everything figured out. You only need to have the willingness to open your heart. You do not need to have a flawless record. You only need to have a soul willing to seek its Lord again. If you are seeing this, then somewhere deep within you there is a heart that is tired of running, a heart that is tired of pretending it is okay, a heart that no longer wants to carry the burdens it has been holding, a heart that just wants peace. And the truth that you may have forgotten is that peace does not come from the world. Peace does not come from the approval of people. Peace does not come from achieving a certain life, a certain job, a certain status, a certain relationship. Peace comes from the one who created your heart, because the heart can never rest with anything other than the one who fashioned it. Think back to the moments when you cried alone, the moments when your chest felt tight and you didn't know why, the moments when you felt unseen, unheard, unsupported. Think about the times when you tried to fill your emptiness with things that only made it deeper. Think about the times when you tried to numb your pain in ways that only added more pain. Think about the moments when you said, even if quietly, I can't do this anymore. Every single one of those moments was seen by Allah. Not one tear fell without His awareness. Not one fear entered your heart without His knowledge. Not one hardship touched you except that He counted it, measured it, and knew it more intimately than you did. And yet, despite everything, despite the mistakes, the regrets, the forgotten prayers, the neglected nights, the spiritual distance, you are being called again. You are being reminded again. You are being invited again, because Allah never stops calling the hearts that He loves. And yes, despite what you may tell yourself, despite what guilt may whisper into your mind, despite what hopelessness may try to convince you, Allah does love you. He created you with purpose. He sustained you with mercy. He protected you in moments you didn't even know danger was near. He guided you back from paths that would have destroyed you. He placed people in your life who helped you grow. He removed people from your life who would have broken you. He has been writing your story with more compassion than you write your own thoughts. And now He is placing a new page in front of you. Sometimes the hardest thing in life is not believing in Allah. It is believing that Allah has not given up on you, but He hasn't. He never has. He never will. He is the one who forgives before you even ask, the one who answers before you even speak, the one who knows your weaknesses and still invites you to draw near, the one who hears the whispers of your heart even when your lips remain silent, the one who brings you back through signs so gentle that only a soul seeking truth will recognize them. If you are seeing this, Allah wants to speak to you. He wants to remind you that He is still here. He wants to remind you that He has always been here. He wants to remind you that the door of return is open, wide, glowing with mercy, waiting for you. And you do not need to run toward it with full strength. You just need to walk. And if walking feels too hard, then crawl. And if crawling feels too hard, then simply turn your face toward Him and He will carry you the rest of the way. Allah is not far. Allah is not distant. Allah is not tired of you. Allah is not disappointed in the way you think He is. Allah is not done with you. The voice in your mind that tells you you're too flawed, too broken, too sinful, too weak, that voice is not from Him. His call is softer, warmer, kinder. His call is the one that says, my mercy is greater than your past. His call is the one that says, return and you will find me. His call is the one that says, do not despair of my mercy. His call is the one that says, I am near. Reflect for a moment. Out of the millions of things you could be doing, out of the endless distractions, out of the noise of the digital world, out of every possible second of the day, you are here reading this. You are here in this moment that was written for you long before you even existed. You are here because Allah wanted to reach you right now in the exact state you are in. He didn't wait for you to be stronger. He didn't wait for you to be perfect. He didn't wait for you to feel ready. He chose this version of you, the tired you, the confused you, the growing you, the questioning you, because this version of you is worthy of His mercy. So ask yourself, why would Allah call you now unless He loved you? Why would He place these words in front of you unless He wanted to bring you closer? Why would He guide your heart in this direction unless He had something better waiting for you than everything you have been holding on to? Allah does not guide a heart except toward what will heal it. Allah does not call a soul except toward what will elevate it. Allah does not remind a believer except when He wants to restore them. You might think you are far, but Allah is closer than you realize. You might think you are unworthy, but Allah sees your potential, not your past. You might think you have failed, but Allah sees your sincere attempts, not your stumbles. You might think you have been forgotten, but Allah remembers you even when you forget yourself. You might think you are alone, but Allah has been accompanying you through every step you took, even the ones that led you away from Him, because He knew they would eventually lead you back. This moment is sacred. This moment is intentional. This moment is personal. Allah is speaking to you even if you cannot hear Him with your ears. He is speaking to you through signs, through reminders, through the stirring of your heart. He is speaking to you through the hunger you feel for peace, for purpose, for direction. He is speaking to you through the exhaustion you feel from trying to survive on your own. He is speaking to you through the longing you feel for something deeper, something real, something eternal, and he is speaking to you now, gently, lovingly, calling you back to him with the softest pull. Your hardships are messages wrapped in mercy, though when you are standing inside them, they don't look like mercy at all. They feel heavy, confusing, overwhelming, and sometimes deeply unfair. They feel like walls closing in, like storms that won't end, like nights that stretch longer than daylight ever could. But within every hardship there is a voice. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one, but a quiet voice placed by Allah himself. A voice that calls you back to him, not to punish you, but to remind you that you were never meant to carry life alone. And if you are reading this, it is because somewhere within your hardship, Allah is speaking to you in ways you may not yet understand. Hardship is not a sign of Allah's anger. Hardship is not a sign that you've been abandoned. Hardship is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. In fact, sometimes the presence of hardship is the greatest proof that Allah is guiding you, shaping you, protecting you, preparing you for something your eyes cannot see yet. When you feel that sudden heaviness, when your plans fall apart, when the people you counted on let go, when the things you relied on crumble, when your heart breaks in ways you never imagined it could, these are not random crashes in your life. These are intentional rearrangements from the one who knows exactly what you need, even when you don't. There are times you pray for strength, and Allah gives you a situation that requires you to be stronger than you've ever been. There are times you pray for patience, and Allah gives you delays that stretch you until you learn how to surrender. There are times you ask for closeness to him, and suddenly the world becomes too painful, too fragile, too temporary to cling to. There are times you ask for peace, and Allah removes everything that was disturbing your soul, even if it means your heart must first break in the process. Because sometimes your heart must crack open before light can enter it. Think of the moments you have suffered. Not the ones you pretend didn't matter, but the ones that left marks on you. The moments when you lay awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why this happened, why now, why you. The moments when disappointment consumed you, when betrayal shattered you, when grief suffocated you. The moments when loss felt too heavy to hold, when uncertainty wrapped around your chest so tightly you could barely breathe. You may have thought that Allah was silent during those times, but the truth is that he was speaking to you in the language of hardship, a language that the soul understands far more deeply than comfort ever could, because hardship strips away illusions. It removes the false attachments you cling to. It exposes what was fragile, what was temporary, what was never meant to be your source of security. Hardship forces you to see what you were blind to. It awakens the heart that was sleeping. It shakes the soul that has grown numb. It turns your face upward when you have been looking everywhere else for answers. Hardship is not a punishment. Hardship is a pull toward the one who can heal what nothing else can touch. There are people who grow in ease, but most hearts grow in difficulty. Most hearts soften when they have been broken. Most hearts remember Allah when they have nowhere else to turn. Not because they didn't love him before, but because hardship is a mirror. It shows you what you truly need. And the more you look, the more you realize that what you truly need is him. Pain has a way of peeling back the layers you've built around yourself. The layers of pride, of distraction, of long ignored wounds, of false independence. Pain reveals the parts of you that require healing, the habits that need breaking, the relationships that weren't healthy, the places where you relied on creation more than the Creator. Pain shows you your own limitations, but also Allah's limitless mercy. It humbles you, but in that humility, it elevates you spiritually. It brings you to your knees, but that is where the soul finds the deepest strength. When Allah loves someone, he protects their heart, even if that protection comes disguised as heartbreak. He protects their path, even if that protection comes disguised as loss. He protects their faith, even if that protection comes disguised as struggle. What you call a setback may be a rescue. What you call a disappointment may be a redirection. What you call an unanswered prayer may be a better prayer being prepared. What you call an ending may be the beginning of something far better than what you were holding on to. Hardships are not random. They are calibrated, measured precisely. Not a breath too heavy, not a second too long, not an inch beyond what your heart can grow through. Allah knows the threshold of your soul. He knows when you are about to break and when you are about to rise. He knows when a hardship will crush you and when it will mold you. He knows when it needs to continue and when it needs to lift. The hardship you are in right now is not because Allah wants to hurt you, but because He wants to teach you something that comfort never could. Reflect on the times you grew the most in your life, the times your faith deepened, the times your heart softened, the times your priorities shifted, the times you realized how small the world is and how great Allah is. Those moments weren't born from ease. They were born from difficulty. Allah uses hardship to move your heart from where it is to where it needs to be. Without hardship, you might stay stuck in places that are too small for your soul. Without hardship, you might cling to things that are harming you. Without hardship, you might never discover strength you didn't know you had. You might not see the wisdom now, but you will. Every hardship carries within it seeds of goodness that will bloom in their own time. Some hardships bloom quickly, within months, within days, even within hours. Others take years, decades, lifetimes to reveal their full wisdom. But none are empty, none are pointless, none are wasted. Allah wastes nothing. Sometimes your hardship is the very thing that saves you. Sometimes your hardship is the veil between you and a sin that would have broken you. Sometimes your hardship is the force that brings you back to prayer after years of distance. Sometimes your hardship is the reason you fall into sujood with sincerity you never knew before. Sometimes your hardship is the protection you begged for but didn't recognize because it came wrapped in discomfort. You may think your hardship is taking something from you, but in reality, it might be giving you something greater: patience, wisdom, depth, faith, gratitude, a new beginning, a clean heart, a closer bond with Allah. Hardships are not the interruption of your life, they are the shaping of your life. They are not the breaking of your story, they are the rewriting of your story. They are not the destruction of your heart, they are the purification of your heart. Picture a seed buried beneath the soil. From the outside, it looks like darkness. It looks suffocating. It looks like a place of pressure and struggle. But inside that darkness, the seed is transforming. It is splitting open. It is breaking. And it must break, because without that breaking, there is no growth. Without that pressure, the seed cannot rise. Without that darkness, the roots cannot strengthen. Hardship is your soil. It feels dark. It feels heavy. It feels like you are trapped under something you can't escape. But this is where growth is happening. This is where strength is forming. This is where your new chapter is rooting itself. Allah does not allow a hardship unless He intends to bring you through it. Not around it, not away from it, through it. And in that journey through hardship, you discover a version of yourself you might never have met otherwise. A version that is more patient, more humble, more aware, more compassionate, more connected to Allah, more resilient. A version that can look back one day and say, that hardship almost destroyed me, but it also rebuilt me. Many people ask, why does Allah test me? But a better question is, why does Allah still believe I can rise through what He has given me? Because every hardship is a testimony of Allah's knowledge of your strength. Strength you may not recognize yet, but He does. There are moments when you cry in secret, moments where your heart aches in ways you cannot describe to anyone, moments when you pray and the tears fall without permission. In those moments, the angels are writing your endurance, your patience, your trust, your sincerity. In those moments, Allah is closer than you can imagine. Hardship brings you to the place where your du'as are raw, real, unfiltered, where you don't recite memorized words, you speak from the depths of your soul. And those are the du'as that change your destiny. Hardship simplifies life. It strips away the noise. It reveals who truly cares. It shows you which attachments were illusions. It reminds you of what matters and what doesn't. It teaches you that the world is temporary, but Allah is eternal. It teaches you that people forget, but Allah remembers. It teaches you that people break promises, but Allah never does. It teaches you that the world is not designed to hold your heart. Only Allah is. And when you reach that realization, even the hardship begins to soften, because hardship becomes a doorway rather than a wall, a teacher rather than a punishment, a path rather than a prison. You learn to breathe differently. You begin to trust differently. You understand that nothing was taken from you except what was harming you. Nothing was delayed except what wasn't ready. Nothing was broken except what needed to be rebuilt. Right now, in your hardship, Allah is talking to you through every delay, through every heartbreak, through every confusion, through every closed door, through every silent night, through every unanswered question. His message is not, you are alone. His message is, come closer to me. His message is not, you are being punished. His message is, I am protecting you. His message is not, life is falling apart. His message is, I am rebuilding you. His message is not, this is the end. His message is, this is the beginning. And when Allah writes a beginning for you, it is always better than the ending you mourned. Returning to Allah begins with a single sincere breath. Not a lifetime of perfection, not years of flawless worship, not a heart free of mistakes or a life free of wounds. Just one breath, one intention, one moment where your soul whispers, even faintly, I want to come back. That single moment carries more weight than the years you spent drifting, because Allah responds to sincerity faster than you can imagine. He does not wait for you to be worthy. He waits for you to be willing. And the moment you become willing, even for a second, the doors you thought were closed begin to open with a mercy you did nothing to earn. People often think they need to fix themselves before they return to Allah, that they need to overcome their sins, their habits, their distractions, their weaknesses, and only then will they be accepted. But the truth is the opposite. You don't fix yourself and then return to Allah. You return to Allah so that He fixes you. You return as you are, broken, flawed, uncertain, imperfect. And Allah accepts you as you are because He has always known who you are. He has seen every version of you, every chapter, every fall, every rise. He knows you intimately, understands you perfectly, and still calls you back with a love that never decreases. Sometimes returning to Allah doesn't feel dramatic. It might feel like a sigh after a long day. It might feel like tears you didn't plan to cry. It might feel like your heart softening in a way you can't explain. It might feel like a small whisper inside you that says, there has to be more than this. That whisper is guidance. That whisper is mercy. That whisper is Allah calling you, not loudly because He doesn't need to shout. The soul recognizes its creator even when the mind is unsure. And when Allah calls a heart, it feels a pull that cannot be ignored forever. The world may distract you, but the pull remains. Your mistakes may drown you for a while, but the pull remains. Life may bury you under responsibilities and pain, but the pull remains, because the one pulling you is the one who created you. Returning to Allah begins with honesty, not perfection, not knowledge, not eloquent prayers, not long worship. Honesty, the honesty to admit that you need Him, the honesty to admit that you cannot carry your life alone, the honesty to admit that your soul is tired and all the things you chase in this world cannot heal what hurts inside you, the honesty to admit that nothing has given you lasting peace except moments when your heart was close to Allah. That is the starting point, a moment of truth inside your chest. Sometimes your return begins with regret, with guilt, with a feeling that you've been gone too long. Sometimes it begins with a quiet yearning for meaning. Sometimes it begins with hardship that shakes you awake. Sometimes it begins with blessings that make you realize how dependent you truly are. Sometimes it begins with losing someone. Sometimes it begins with finding someone. Sometimes it begins with a beautiful moment that brings you to tears. Sometimes it begins with a painful moment that brings you to your knees. Every path is different, but every path leads toward the same place, the door of Allah, a door that never closes. You might think your return needs to be grand, but Allah loves subtle steps too. He loves when you whisper His name in a moment of loneliness. He loves when you say Alhamdulillah without thinking. He loves when you raise your hands, even if you don't know what to say. He loves when you cry to him, even if the tears have no words. He loves when you try again after failing. He loves when you walk toward him after crawling through hardship. One sincere breath. That is enough. That is the beginning of transformation. Think of the countless times you have been protected without knowing, the accidents you avoided, the pain that could have been worse, the harm that never reached you, the heartbreaks that saved you. Think of the times you prayed without words, only with your heart, and Allah answered those silent prayers. Think of the times you forgot him, but he never forgot you. Think of the ways he stitched you back together when you didn't even understand what was breaking. Think of how gently he has guided you back today, in this moment. This moment is not random. This moment is not an accident. This moment is a divine invitation. This moment is Allah saying, come back to me. Returning to Allah is not an event. It is a relationship, a conversation that unfolds over days and nights, a bond that grows stronger with sincerity, not perfection. You do not need to overhaul your life overnight. You do not need to transform at a pace that overwhelms you. Allah does not rush you. Allah does not pressure you. Allah does not expect you to become someone else instantly. He just wants your heart to lean toward him, even slightly, even quietly. Maybe your return begins by praying one prayer on time. Maybe it begins by whispering astaghfirullah in the quiet of the night. Maybe it begins by listening to one reminder that softens your heart. Maybe it begins by making one dua from a place of longing. Maybe it begins by opening the Quran again, even if you read only one verse. Maybe it begins by removing something that hurts your soul. Maybe it begins by adding something that nourishes it. Allah loves small steps taken consistently. He loves the sincerity behind effort more than the effort itself. Your return to Allah does not need to be witnessed by others. It does not need applause. It does not need validation. Your return is a private, sacred moment between you and the one who has always been with you. People may not notice, but the angels do. Allah does. Your soul does. And every step you take toward Allah brings you closer to becoming the person He created you to be. Returning to Allah is not about becoming someone religious in the eyes of the world. It is not about performing spirituality for others. It is not about appearing pious. It is about healing. It is about grounding your heart. It is about placing your broken pieces into the hands of the one who can mend them. It is about finding meaning beyond the temporary. It is about waking up from the illusions of this world. It is about returning to the one who wrote your story before you came into existence. No matter how far you think you've gone, it is never too far. No matter how many mistakes you believe you've made, they are never too many. No matter how dark you feel inside, the light of Allah's mercy is brighter. No matter how ashamed you are of your past, Allah already knows it and still invites you. No matter how weak your faith feels, Allah honors even the smallest spark. He can grow that spark into light, into peace, into strength. Returning begins with a single sincere breath. That breath holds power. That breath holds intention. That breath holds hope. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel your chest rise. Feel your heart beat. Feel your soul whispering that it longs for its creator. That longing is proof that you are not spiritually dead. A dead heart does not long for Allah. Only a heart alive, even faintly, reaches out. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't let guilt tell you you're too far. Don't let shame tell you you're unworthy. Don't let fear tell you you're incapable of change. Your soul was created with fitrah, a natural inclination to seek Allah, to love Him, to rely on Him, to return to Him. Life may have buried that fitrah under layers of distractions, wounds, traumas, sins, regrets, and noise, but it has never been destroyed. It is still there. It is waking up even now. Returning to Allah is not only about repentance, it's about rediscovering who you are. It's about remembering the purpose